What's going on, y'all? It's Chris Conley, and as we discover Houston, we're going by some of the iconic eateries here that are a part of the culture. Today we're at the Breakfast Klub, and we're gonna go sit down with Marcus Davis and talk about what makes this place tick. Let's go check it out. This is the Con Man Cravings.
Morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the Breakfast Klub.
Thank you so much.
Marcus Davis.
Chris,
good to have you here.
nice to meet you.
Good to have you here. Welcome to the Breakfast Klub, the coffee shop that happens to serve great food. And we're gonna get to that food in just a minute.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
This is the Breakfast Klub. We've been here on the corner of Travis and Alabama since 2001. This fall we'll celebrate 2 decades of inspiring entrepreneurship right here in our city.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I could just feel the vibe of this place. It embraces you as soon as you walk in.
You felt that right here.
Yeah.
Just right.
Yeah.
That was the whole design. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was the intent. We wanted you to be sucked in when you walked in, wrapped up when you walked up.
I love it.
I was on the roll. I was trying to come up with a third one.
Well,
let's get some grub on, man.
Yeah, let's go sit down and talk about that. The iconic Breakfast Klub right here in the heart of Houston, Texas. This place is just vibrant and alive, and I can feel it just coming in the door. Like, what's the story behind this place?
Starting with what you just described, what you feel, the vibe, is probably a core part of the foundation. Wanted to create a place years ago that wrapped its arms around you when you walked inside, right? And entrepreneurship. I have a definition for entrepreneurship: filling a void in the marketplace that the marketplace is calling for, consciously or subconsciously. And that's looking around and seeing what the market is looking for, asking for, or what the market needs that it doesn't even know it wants. And so when I was about 28, how old are you? 28. When I was about 28, I started thinking about this concept, and that the city of Houston didn't have it. We didn't have a breakfast joint that was live, all the way live, right? Coming up on my 30th, we didn't have our own place, meaning in terms of restaurant, the old guard had their spots, but there hadn't been a spot created for my generation, by my generation, for my generation. And so, I wanted to create that, wanted to fill those voids. Midtown didn't have a breakfast joint. You could count on one hand how many places in Houston did breakfast as their feature. Breakfast in 1999, breakfast wasn't as sexy as it is today.
Yeah.
Right? Like today it's super sexy. In 99, it was just a day part where you try to make a few extra dollars instead of focusing on it. So yeah. So the story behind it is I wanted to fill those voids, and that vibe that you described. So one night some guys and I were hanging out, and this is right when downtown was converting from the old rusty dusty space that it was to trying to be the new hip vibrant center of the city. And so we're hanging out in different spots, hitting spot to spot, group of professionals, everybody in the car, we're doing well for themselves. Pharmacists, doctor, engineer, CPAs, all that good stuff. And all night we talked about what kind of place we could create, right? Based on the places we had been. And so in the middle of the night, what happens after you hang out, you get hungry. And we were looking for a space that fit the vibe that we were in, that we had been in all night, right? So you could go to those other places, right, where lights are bright, it's ice cold, polyester aprons. But I wanted to create a place that was just like the places we had been in. So we had been in a jazz bar,
I wanted to create a breakfast joint that was just like the place that we had been.
As you describe that, I look around and I see exactly what you're talking about. This place is straight from that mind and that creative space, and it's executed so well. It's executed so well. One of the things that I really noticed about not only the Breakfast Club, but the patrons that come in here is there's a very strong sense of community. And I just have a feeling that community is so important to you. Can you explain why that's woven into the fabric of this place?
I am the son of two educators. Mom and dad both taught administration for 30 years. And they instilled in my brothers and I a sense of community through their work in the community as educators, taking care of the kids in the community. My father, who was an administrator on his exiting years, but in his early years, he was a musician. So he actually taught music and ran the school choir. So my dad was the guy that would grab the biggest, roughest, toughest dude from the football field
And get him in the choir.
You go get in this choir.
Man, that was me. That was me. I was in the school choir.
I remember standing up next to this dude named Leroy, who I was scared as hell of. Because Leroy was like, rah! But we were in the same choir. Cause my dad, that was his way of, extending culture. Because we went on different trips. We go here, perform, go there, perform competitions, and it was just a way of exposing them to some other.
That's creating community.
It was creating community. So that my mom taught kindergarten for 25 years, second grade the last 5 years, and it was all about these kids in this community. So from there, my brothers and I took on this sense of community, and I believe I gave you the definition of entrepreneurship, which is filling a void in the marketplace that the marketplace is calling for consciously or subconsciously. Phase 2 is understanding the relationship between the entrepreneur and the community. The community needed that space filled. The entrepreneur did it. So then the community has an opportunity to support that entrepreneur, and then the entrepreneur then has a greater opportunity to reinvest into the community. You see what I'm saying? So it's cooperative economics, core principle of Kwanzaa. On the mural outside, building Wakanda one grid at a time.
There it is.
Building community is what we're about.
That is absolutely beautiful, and I can feel it. I can feel it not only just in the way that this place is run and the way that people are enjoying their experience, not just their meals, their experience,
Right.
but the way that you talk about it. There's a lot of passion behind your voice, and you can see that. The way that you're reinvesting into people as they've come and support this business is amazing. That's exactly what I'm here to see. That's what I want to get plugged into here in Houston, and I just want to say, like, this is a beautiful thing.
Well, I appreciate it, and I gotta, my team has done a great job at taking the standard of who we are, what we're about, upholding it, making sure that we protect that part of the brand. This is what we stand for, and just recently we were rewarded for that by the Houston Chronicle by being named best family-friendly restaurant in Houston. Yeah. So kudos to my team.
That's awesome. Well, I, for one, am ready to try some of this iconic food that I've heard so much about.
Yeah. By the way, we did get best breakfast too, so we
We might have to do that. How about we do that?
I vote yes.
Let's go. Look at this spread right here. So what am I looking at, and where do we start?
Let's start by stating the obvious, right? There are a couple of things that people know us for: the fish and grits and the wings and waffles. But these are the ones where people ask me what are my favorites, and the ones that have stories to them. These are the go-tos, right?
There we go.
These are the go-tos. Right?
So where do we start?
I will start here. So I grew up working in food, right? Mostly in fast food, and so it was very common. And I remember specifically one day when I was making air quote biscuit and gravy for the line, and you would open this plastic bag with some powder in it and these little chunks of pebbles and pour them in water, and that was supposed to be biscuit and gravy. And you had to search for the little
pebbles of supposed sausage, mush meat, or I don't know what it was.
I know this ain't wish me.
So, I made a commitment that, when I got ready to open, or as I was preparing to open, people would ask, what's going to make you different? How are you going to stand out? How are you going to separate yourself from everybody else? And these were some of the things that I think about. Places I had been, things that I had tried or made that I felt like could be a whole lot better than they were, right? Nice, thick chunks of sausage, thick gravy, very flavorful, right? And so, we wanted to conquer that.
You conquered it. You definitely conquered this.
I didn't want you wondering where the sausage was. I didn't want you having to look for all the extra stuff to add to it. I'm okay if you add, some hot sauce to it or any of that good stuff.
You don't need it.
But I wanted it to be packed with flavor from the get-go, right? And so that was one of the things I thought could be different. Now this one right here, this right here. So the meaty 3 omelets, right? I'm a carnivore.
Yeah.
I love all people, but I'm a carnivore. And similar story. I went to a place, ordered an omelet, and I don't know if you've been, but some people make omelets where they put the egg, they have the egg, and they put the thing inside, and then they close it up, and then that's the omelet. And I was like, no, that's not how this works. I just always believe that the products, the ingredients should be cooked into the egg, and that it should be a lot of it, right? And so similar to the sausage, we wanted all of the meat cooked into the egg. We didn't want it separate from the egg, and we wanted it to be a whole big chunks of sausage. And I didn't want.
There is so much flavor. There is so much going on in this right now, all at the same time. I don't have to search for it.
You don't. Every bite. Look, one of my favorite food movies that's not about food, Casino. I don't know if you ever seen it. It's Robert De Niro and the other guy, I can't remember his name. But they're in a scene. It's a gangster movie, right, about casinos. But they're in his restaurant and they're having this gangster meeting, and the waiter brings out the food.
Look at that. Look at this. There's nothing. Look how many blueberries your muffin has and how many mine has. Yours is falling apart. I have nothing. What are you talking about? It's like everything else in this place. You don't do it yourself, it never gets done. I want you to put an equal amount of blueberries in each muffin. An equal amount of blueberries in each muffin.
I want 9 blueberries in every single muffin. And so the rule here is I want to see sausage covering the biscuits. I want to see meat throughout the egg.
I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a theme here, and I understand it 100%.
There we go, and there it is. You good?
I'm coming back to that.
I don't know how you're gonna finish all of that. And what's a good Southern breakfast without a pork chop? I mean, there's no story to that, right? What's a good Southern breakfast without a pork chop? Now, mind you, I said pork chop. The R is silent.
Pork chop. Hey, if that's any indication.
Hold on, time out. My papa said it came with a handle for a reason. Pork chops are finger food. They're not to be had. It's not a knife and fork. We got standards in this place. I need you to represent.
Excuse me. It got a handle for a reason.
My papa said it came with a handle for a reason. Here, I'm gonna join you.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you. Cheers.
Cheers. That's a pork chop right there. That is so good. And I would even argue that the great food is made even better by the standard by which you eat it.
Oh, without a doubt, man. I agree wholeheartedly.
Beautiful.
Wholeheartedly.
I've noticed something across all of these dishes. It's packed with flavor, and you don't hold back. It's not like, there's a little bit of pork chop or, a couple of potatoes. there's not a little bit of sausage, a little bit of meat in your omelet. You go all the way with these wonderful ingredients so that not only do you get to taste each of these components, but you get to taste them the whole time you eat.
The whole time you eat, and if you want to take it home, you get to taste it some more.
Man, that is just amazing. Well, this shows me why the Breakfast Klub is one of the top breakfast places in the country for sure. I can see it.
Appreciate it, man. Much.
Well, Marcus, thank you for having us here today. But I got one last question for you. If there's something that you could tell this community that has supported you this whole time, what would it be?
Oh, that's an easy one. Thank you. You know, I would say thank you for 19, almost 20 years of showing up. You know, I tell my team all the time, we never take for granted that when we unlock that door, that people are going to show up. And we're fortunate. And I know this sounds crazy because the line out the door 2 blocks long, but you never want to take that for granted. And so that's why every morning at 7 a.m. when we open and I unlock the door, the very first set of customers that walked in, they get a round of applause, right? Because we like to celebrate them for choosing to participate in our entrepreneurial journey and choosing us over the other 2,000 restaurants that they could have stopped by. Choosing to help us feed our families, choosing to help us build Wakanda one grid at a time.
Well, man, that's awesome. Thank you so much for having us, and much love.